Ken. Good morning. Hope everybody's doing fine. Happy Friday. How eerie. I keep a notepad, one of these little things, and I went back and found the notes from last mid-August for the Coffee with Carl, and it's kind of depressing actually that we're still talking about some of this stuff, but percentage rate this week is higher than it was last year this time, obviously. But anyway, want to hit a couple of COVID stuff, talk to y'all, see what y'all are doing, and then a couple of spots around town, and we'll go from there. So kids back in school, y'all saw, we talked about this, I think, Pickens County went back to school, and they quickly had to go virtual because of the number of case positives. Kershaw County this week had 1,000 kids on quarantine. And then I do know that Richland 1 was calling people overnight and putting kids on quarantine based on exposure the first 2 days of school. We don't know numbers of that yet, but we know that that's happening. So we'll have to see what transpires, because I know that everybody recognizes that having kids in school is better than not. But numbers are going to matter, and how do we maneuver that next couple of weeks? Because if we follow the European model, then we've got about 5 more weeks of this mess before we see a rapid drop. So cases, Lexington is still trending higher right now than Richland County, which is so interesting to me. But hospital beds, 97% occupied, something like crazy number like that. You've got anyway, we got a lot of cases, and Prisma Health has seen more than 2.5 times the number of people below the age of 59 impacted by this Delta variant than they had back in January. So reasons for concern: 2.5 times the number of pediatric cases than they've had before. So and then doubling that, not only COVID, but then RSV and some other variant stuff has been coming into play as well. So we've got some challenges on the healthcare side. And one thing I'd like to throw out, if you talk to any hospital administrator, and that's I'm sure across the country, you're looking at a perfect storm in a way. Not only are the cases rising, you got some variant issues, but you've got a workforce that is just totally on its last leg, right? I mean, they have been put through the ringer for 1.5 years, and you're seeing exits from the market, employees, that is, they're just leaving by the droves with no ability to attract talent either, because they're getting pulled in other directions. So what can we do as a business community to support our healthcare workers? I know a lot of people are throwing gift cards and trying to do things. That's great. But as a community, I think we should look a little broader than that. We do a lot with our men and women of service by giving them a discount in our retail stores. What are y'all's thoughts? I mean, does anybody have anything that we could do to, like, I would throw out, we try to push the business community to give discounts for healthcare workers, but I'm open to suggestions. I know Tim, James, and I at the Casey West Columbia Chamber have been talking about this week, and I just would love some ideas.
Carl, I would, this is Lynn. How's everybody this morning? I would just say, why don't we ask them what they need? What are their needs? Because who knows better than they do? What they go through every day, whether it be child care or, mental health or whatever it be. But I think they'll probably be the best ones to give us that answer.
Yeah, that's a good call. Anyone else want to throw something out there?
I think the best thing that they could have is everybody to get vaccinated.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's not leave off the mask.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see it's troubling in a lot of ways. I was laughing at somebody last night on Twitter who said they had to turn off all the news and they were going to watch a horror movie to relax. And I started chuckling, just thinking, we're almost at that point. Look, we had forest fires, COVID, earthquakes, hurricanes this week, back to school pressure. It's a lot of noise out there. Then plus what happened in DC yesterday, bomb scares, etc. I don't know about y'all, but I had to turn off pictures of the planes leaving Afghanistan the other day when people were trying to hang on to airplanes. That just, that got me. So there is a lot of noise out there, and we gotta work through this. But the polarization more locally, heck, you got lawsuit number 1 filed from USC and higher education. That got settled fairly quickly, thank goodness. Now lawsuits number 2 and 3 with the AG countering Charleston and Columbia. Hopefully the courts will take that up very quickly. But it's also disconcerting as well as when you just pull that onion one more layer back, when you've got overt. Our government is only as good as the laws that we have. And if we are challenging the laws and just doing it about face, not working with each other, but suing each other, and that's anarchy. I don't know another way to describe it, but it's troubling on both sides of the political spectrum that the courts are having to play intermediary here, not on ideas, but on politics. And we need to put more pressure on our political figures to show some civility and work through this stuff, because right now I'm not seeing the half glass full, to be honest with you, this week. So I may need some help from y'all to boost it up, but I think overtly going against what's on books is troubling. Yeah.
In addition to that, I mean, I had conversations with some of my law enforcement friends, both in Richland, Lexington County, and the city, and they're scared to death about this, the effects of this open carry bill that just went into effect, of how do you determine who's good and who's who the good guys are versus those that aren't. So I mean, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out across our communities as we go forward.
Yeah, I agree with you. That one's a big one. So but the one bill that got put on the books last Sunday, that, again, I said this last week, hooray, hooray, hooray. So my PSA is twofold now, Rich O'Donnell: wear your mask and drive in the right lane. Right? I'm so excited about that one. Anyway, let's talk about some positives, though, really, that's coming down the pipe. CDC, FDA looks like they're going to approve boosters for those folks. They got shots with the recommendation of 8 months out. That's great. We've seen in the United States over 1 million vaccines being produced. I mean, not produced, but given out in the last 24 hours alone, which is very helpful. That's good stuff. ICU beds filling up pretty, and we all know that it's just crazy. So all that being said, we'll have to watch the local school districts, and while I'm very, very concerned about obviously the children, but I'm also concerned about how the districts respond to these quarantines of kids, and what's the threshold to stay in school, because A, we know they learn better, but 2, that impacts the workforce, and what we can't afford is another shutdown. But we need adults back to have the ability to be back at work, and if kids are not home, we can't have that. So we'll be really paying attention to the local districts to see how this works out. If you saw Pickens last week, who went virtual, they're already going to be back in person starting Monday. That's my understanding. So that's a good sign. It was just 1 week of everybody being out, 10 days, if you will. I think we can survive that. I don't want to see longer than that, quite frankly. All right, let's talk. One of the really positives this week was I was able to go to a GrowCo event on Wednesday night. Chuck was there. It was presented by USC, I think the SCRA, some others put together a, it was part of a Richland County, City of Columbia, Lexington County conversation on different things that we can do to improve our workforce and better align industry with future workforce needs. And they brought in for the last 8 weeks a guy named Chris Heavley. Chuck, is it Heavley? Anyway,
I think it's Healy.
Heavley, yeah.
Yeah.
I met Chris about 6 years ago. He was one of the founders of MapQuest. And he has spent, after being an entrepreneur, he's still an entrepreneur and an angel investor, but he has spent, he lives in Durham and has spent years retooling the downtown Durham marketplace. And if y'all have not been to Durham, it is phenomenal. Now they had a good billionaire that could help out, but they took an old tobacco warehouse and created an incubator for companies, and it's hundreds of thousands of square feet of space for these companies to go and make connections and build their businesses. And so we have USC and SCRA have hired Chris to come to Columbia to really look and see how we can better realign our investments, to realign our ecosystem here in Columbia to better attract and retain some upstart companies. And so he spent about an hour and a half talking about the good, bad, and ugly of what we have in Columbia as it relates to the ecosystem. And what's interesting, it's money is not the issue here. It is really thinking differently, and we need a more robust private sector with some funders here. The money from the public sector is great, but that doesn't drive a lot of the private sector growth, or it's inverted, quite frankly. We need it to be private led. And so he's got a book out called Build the Fort. And so it's his model, what he's going to do here to be a consultant here in Columbia. He's quick to point out he's an entrepreneur first, consultant second. He doesn't like that word, but I'm really impressed with Chris. I was able to, again, spend some time with him 5-6 years ago, but he brings a level of energy and creativity to this marketplace that I think could really build dividends in Columbia. He's done this in other communities. I know he was in upstate New York looking at he was in Buffalo, but you look at some of the marketplace. If y'all had been to, I grew up in North Carolina, I would go to Durham, and Durham was just not nice at all. And I think they would say the same thing, many of those in Durham. It is phenomenal to see what they've been able to put together with partnerships with Duke, partnerships with RTP, and other different factions of the triangle. But Durham itself probably has more patents and more startups than Raleigh and Chapel Hill, Cary combined. And all of it at the American Underground, phenomenal. And so we can learn from these folks that have expertise. And Chuck and I just touched on this at the very beginning. Chris doesn't say anything that others hadn't said in this community for a long time, but he has a level of authority by his success in the marketplace. But we'd be smart to listen. And so I encourage y'all to look at Build the Fort. I think it's buildthefort.com is his website, but their books are on Amazon. But really cool stuff, and I'm extremely hopeful that he can bring some expertise and we listen. So, all right, let's talk. Anybody got some things going on that we need to highlight other than get your vaccinations? Elizabeth, you're not on camera. I don't want to put you on the spot too much, but what are you seeing in the marketplace?
Hi, this is Elizabeth from Snelling Staffing. A lot of people hiring constantly every day. We're getting calls from industries we haven't even done business with before. So that's exciting for us. We are filling a lot of housekeeping needs. I was really surprised to get as many as needed. That's a big need in our community, because glad to see the hospitality industry or the hotels are needing the rooms flipped. So that's good.
Yeah.
But we're a lot in that industry, and then all the whole gamut, white collar, blue collar. But it's we're getting candidates placed, but a lot of people are hiring.
So interesting. Well, I think we talked about, but Lizard Thicket, of course, closing one of their stores due to staffing shortages. Now we're seeing limited hours of retail, as well as some restaurants closing the kitchen early, or closing the shops early, opening late because of staffing shortages. It's really kind of interesting how the market's shifting right now. I know y'all are seeing the same thing.
Right. There's, we do not place in restaurants, but we do the hospitality banquets. And so, weddings, we're supplying banquet help to weddings and events. Not every hotel like we used to, but there are some that are still that are busy. So even from mechanical engineers down to the dishwashers, admin staff, accounting staff, but people are definitely still hiring out there. So
well, I think I mentioned this last week, but we're seeing inflationary concerns hopping up, and so not only are we going to bring more money, we're going to bring more patients anytime we go out to eat. Right.
And the wages are we're actually have been an advocate for employees and have increased wages in Columbia by $1.50 an hour. So we're not at 15. We probably won't get there, but we're at least bringing up the blue collar a little bit more.
Yeah, it's interesting also to see the number of folks that are offering sign-on bonuses across the board, which is very, very interesting.
I think it's going to be interesting 5 years from now when the book is written on this thing, if it's written by then. The mood of the people during COVID and how that's affected them changing jobs, because so many are changing jobs. They're deciding not to go back to what they were doing. They've reevaluated their lives. They've met their family again, and they're making a change. And what Elizabeth said about salaries going up or hourly wages going up, I think the workers are in a little bit more control now, and they've got to go up.
We're seeing strange things across the market. We're seeing, people that work for law firms going to work in banking now. That's the craziest thing ever. But we're glad to have Jeff Manning on this morning. Congrats on your new success. By the way, he may have just went from law firm to banking, so more power to him. Craig, what you seeing? How's everything over at Transitions?
Things are going on. We never let up, Carl, with mask and the COVID piece. So I'd sit here and I don't want to waste people's time, but we continue to be fully open. The interesting thing we have that I'll share, and maybe someone can help us, we're trying to get some bathrooms converted to ADA compliant bathrooms. And it's just really hard to find the folks that will do that work. It's not like the mega project that, everybody's going to go build a new building, but it's good, solid paying work. And we're really struggling to find a contractor that will do the bathroom. So I don't know if anybody's got a tip, you can send something to me offline, but we've gone through multiple people, and a lot of these folks, they don't want to touch a project that's too small. And some are just struggling, I think, to get workers and really be able to do it. So it's interesting because we want to do this to help people, and we got the money to do it. We can't do it. We can't find the person who would actually do the ADA work. So it's just an interesting kind of thing. So
yeah, that's growing pains right here in Columbia. We've got so much going on, which is a good thing. And I just saw, I was about to call on him. I think he just pulled out. Ben Arnold was on, and Ben's property at on the corner of Assembly and Lady Street. They got brick up this week, but the Palms is a great project, and they should be completed early next year. They're looking real good. So yeah, hard to find construction right now, it really is. All right, what else is going on?
Well, this is Wendy Spratt from Able, South Carolina. Craig, have you talked to Kimberly Tissot about the ADA compliance and getting that work done?
No, Kimberly who?
Our CEO. I'll talk to you offline about that to see if we can help you get that work done.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
All right. All right. Well, Jeff, what's the countdown? I was about to. What's before first kickoff? How many days?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a new computer this morning. Well, we got this Saturday is 2 weeks, so right around the corner.
All right, countdown is on. Hey Ben, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm threw a shout out to you, and I lost you for a second. But your project, the Palms, looking really, really good. And by the way, Ben gets the early bird award. That's like 6:30 where he is. So good morning, Ben. Congratulations on your project. It's looking good.
Thanks, Carl. I am moving a little slow, but I was having some technical difficulties, so I missed some of that jobs and what's going on discussion. I had to switch to my laptop. But anyway, thanks for your compliment on the Palms. We're really excited about that. I think it's the first ground up conventional housing thing on Main Street or in the CBD in a while. You know, we've got a lot of converted buildings, so we're really looking forward to seeing what the reaction is. I mean, this is going to have all the new technology, and we even have a dog park in the middle of downtown, so that'll be something other projects don't have. And then it's got a rooftop clubhouse, and we're excited about that. But more excited about the convention center expansion, which I guess you guys have been reading about. It's actually making a lot of progress, and the city's spending money finally on some design that I really wanted them to do in 2019 in terms of civil and signing up the team of architects and engineers. So I'm really encouraged. Like, it actually feels like it's moving forward. You know, I've been trying to do it on the private side and the public side, and they're finally stepping up and doing some feasibility, as the mayor said, and the county's engaged too. So stay tuned. There's a lot going on behind the scenes with that, and it's very encouraging. And we have a framework and an understanding, and a document being circulated with the attorneys. So it's the most encouraging it's been since we started this process. And what I can tell you about the convention center, because I'm in touch with Bill Ellen all the time, is that it is booked out all the way through 2022. I don't know about 2023 much yet, but not only in Columbia, nationally, that business has bounced back a lot faster than people thought. The airline industry nationally is back about 80%, and hotels are coming back faster than originally anticipated. More on the leisure side, but the group business is coming back. So all of this is very encouraging. I think it'll add a lot of vibrancy to downtown Columbia, really the whole region. And the airport's excited about it. It's coming together. It's just a slow process. So any of you, as you're speaking to council people, just tell them we need to put it on the agenda and let's vote on it so we can take it forward.
And are both counties involved, or are you just looking at
Well,
both involved?
Lexington is not involved in this future expansion after the bonds are paid off in June of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, there's, I guess you guys have read, but they're looking at doing some form of meeting center themselves. It's not going to be on the same level as the convention center, but I don't think they really want to be in it. They're absolutely welcome, but I think it's going to be Columbia and Richland doing 50-50.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, hey guys, Leanna here with Graduate Columbia. I am your chair for the diplomat program with the chamber as well. Speaking, to your point, Ben, the hotels are back. We are back busy. We're gearing up for football season. We are seeing a lot of leisure, but corporate travel is picking back up. People are back on the road. So yeah, to your point, keep it coming. I've been saying all year, this is the year of the bride. We have all of our brides this year from last year and, queuing up. So, but yeah, we're back at it and excited for football season. It's going to be a good one, I think.
Right. It is fun seeing traffic snarling back on Gervais Street and around with everybody back at on campus. It feels like a vibrant city again. So, which is healthy, really is. So, well, look, we're coming into the 30-minute mark. Really appreciate y'all being with us today, and we'll keep this up for a while. There's a lot coming down the pike, I think, and we're going to see hopefully some answers to some of these questions we have on lawsuits and all that stuff in the next week. So we'll table this conversation until next Friday. But again, don't forget, get your vaccination, wear your mask, and drive in the right lane. All right. See y'all later. Have a good day.
Take care.